Alright, so this is vacuum chamber percent glitchless, so no clipping through walls. The exception to that will be the platform cart skip you see at the manufacturing door. I think it's about 8 minutes in. This is version 0.8.2, so vacuum chamber percent is the final area of the game that you can get to. There's no content beyond that. We're waiting for crush depths at the time that this is recording, which will be defense sector, security sector, hydro plant, somewhere in that. Some of the goal right now, get the presumably fixed 14 duct tape that is available. I've never had less than that, but I occasionally leave with more, which is this duct tape at the end of the vent right here. That one. I don't pick it up because I don't need it. Pipes are very important. They're used for the stove, 3 crafting tables, 2 salvage benches, the vacuum. I think that's everything. It's like a total of 21 metal pipes. The early part here is just trying to get enough metal scrap to be able to make the platform cart and a battery. And then I'm getting a very specific amount of cloth so that when I'm done using it, it is out of my bag entirely. The chef's hat really doesn't have any major benefit. It's kind of a wash. It makes carving the Tarosk take 1 less swipe, but you lose that 1 time save of 1 less swipe from putting on the chef's hat. So I do it just because it's funny. You know, let him cook. I do lose a little bit of time over the course of the run here and there waiting for... not waiting for, but organizing my inventory in a particular way that makes me more responsive when I need it. That can definitely be optimized. I accidentally hit F1 here. Never done that before, so I was very confused. Took me a second to clear it out. There's very little combat on this run, so I take the gamble to not grab bandages like I normally would on other more combat-heavy routes where, like, a peccary or something is gonna hit me. Especially Exors. I don't know why, but they have a ridiculously high chance to bleed you on the first hit. So this is something you might not expect in a speedrun. Actually picking up glue and ethanol. Because of all the crafting and salvage benches needed, the fastest way I have found to reliably get the extra duct tape I need is to craft it. So that's part of why we truck through labs. Check for a peccary there. Didn't get one, which is good. So there's the ethanol, there's the oil. 1 more ethanol, because we're going to make 2 batches of duct tape for a total of 10 extra. Great luck so far. Didn't get any peccary attacks through there. They waste quite a bit of time. I come in here because you have to smash at least 1 computer to get the parts you need to make a vacuum. And something with the monitor and desktop right next to each other, or PC I guess it would be called, is usually the most convenient, especially if you can knock it on the floor by removing the desk, and then it doesn't really scatter very far, as you saw. So there's a couple ways to go about this. Could go to data farm. There's my second glue. Toolboxes are a really good source for that. There's one more in the room with the anvils. And if somehow you still don't have the 2 glue needed, smash the multitude of boxes in that area. You'd have to have absolutely terrible luck to not get the glue you need by the time you've smashed all the boxes in here. Obviously, I got the glue in the first 2 toolboxes, so that was fine. Screws are a big deal. You do not need to talk to anybody to get the recipes you need. Oh, that's right, I did get a peccary up here, I think. Yeah, he wastes a little bit of time on me being difficult. There we go. There's the bioscrap. But I was saying 2 routes you can go. Coming up to the 3rd floor like this gets you anvils, an abundance of natural screws, a second anvil you can break down, which you'll see when I make the salvage table. Hops, who did this on the previous patch, glitchless, did something similar, and that just made sense because the goal is to try and kill 3 robots before going into manufacturing to be able to make the level 1 hacker, because that takes up a lot of precious bag space with all the computer components you gotta haul around to make that happen. So the hope is to get to manufacturing and then make the level 1 hacker there to get it out of the bag so you can do the lap around shipping, logistics, to then make the level 2 hacker and get everything you need to move on, blow up the synchrotron, all that jazz. So you'll see I get a lot of the PC parts I need here, about half, a little over half of them. And then the rest I pick up once I arrive in manufacturing, before setting up the crafting table, making level 1 hack, and doing the loop around there. Not much to see here, just getting everything prepped. Like I said, need those screws. Learned this from Hop's run specifically, of using the tripwire mine to kill the robots quickly. It's definitely the fastest option early in the game. The glitched run likes to use the thermal mallet because you can get rebar early. It's a little bit slower than the tripwire mine. Probably 5 to 10 seconds per robot, but you don't have to spend a lot of screws, and the glitched run goes through data farm, which does not have access to more than 3 screws at the time, or an anvil to make a salvage bench, so that's why it relies on the mallet instead. I think that peccary that was sticking his head through the door will get out on this run. Ideally, I want a 2-seater here because they weigh 7 less pounds than a long office couch. I think I get it, yeah. So that's nice. There's a lot of couch opportunities there. That was a hesitation moment to see what the peccary does, and then just had to go for it. Couldn't delay any longer. Once again, a little bit of inventory management back there to open it up. So this is the pit stop for pipes. And you'll see I'll check for how many I have after this. 11 is not ideal. That means I got very low rolls on all 6 pipes I've looted, so I have to loot 1 more somewhere along the way. But there's several backup spots for pipes, so it's not a big deal. I know it seems odd to do that, but that door takes so long to open that it's maybe half a second time loss in the end to do that, compared to trying to just roll under it as soon as possible. But it's much easier, especially because moving the platform cart around is so janky. Alright, so this is a very specific setup. You use that line right there as the reference point with the edge of the blood spatter. Plop that down, and then there you go. So that is the manufacturing door skip. Once again, something I learned from Hops' run on the last version of the game. 0.8.1. I love how this door just, boop, instant opens. I'm not entirely sure how the robots work when you knock them out of their charging station like that, but I feel like every time I've gone too fast, it takes an extra shot to kill them, so I think they have some iframes when they first emerge. Quick cleanup to drop the anvil onto the bar. That reduces its weight by 25%. And you'll see weight is kind of a big issue for a while here. I'm going to end up in the yellow on my way up to shipping logistics where I set up the next base. That's also why I did not bring the crafting table, because that would be an extra 30 pounds to deal with, and I'd be doing this whole thing in yellow weight, possibly red, including the couch that I brought with me. Now, I could potentially pick up a couch through here, but there's only a couple couches, and I don't want the run to die just because of couches. As you saw, inventory spaces is a premium there, so even though those were some items I wanted, I'll get them back later. This is the long-haul pack mule run up to shipping logistics, and my space is at the most premium right now. Got lucky and didn't have a pest under that table. Yeah, as you can see, with everything I need to pick up and bring with me, my bag is now full, so I did not have room for those other items that I spit out from the boxes. Okay, so that is 4 security bot CPUs. Just need a couple more circuit boards plus other computer stuff. Radios are at a premium. A lot of the route through here revolves around visiting each one for the guaranteed military electronics. That was one of the screw spots, or not screw, metal pipe spots on the way. Hello, Ratman. Ratman jump scare. He doesn't usually come back around for me like that. Always nice to find just some loose screws laying around. Alright, this is going to be a big build process here. It'll be our camp for the next, like, 10 minutes of the run or so. Try to optimize the build order here as much as possible by queuing the next thing I need. And then I forget what button to press. Tried something a little different. Usually I put it on the other side of the cubicle wall there, but I've been having some trouble getting enough space to place the battery. So I put it over there to make sure I had ample room to work with without having to futz with precision placement. So the goal of the build order here is to slowly eliminate as much stuff from bag space as possible, so I don't drop anything on the ground as I go. So the crafting bench, of course, has to be made first. The salvage bench lets me get rid of an anvil. The cooking bench lets me get rid of plastic, followed by the controller, which I need 2 of, lets me get rid of keyboards and phones. You saw I had an extra keyboard that I just dropped on the ground at that point. And there's Hacker 1. Make a battery here, a mallet for the few cases of actual fighting I need to do. Get that bucket done. Had good luck with the staplers on the way, so I don't need to worry about picking up additional staplers. See what I mean about the space being at a premium here? Also, platform carts are just notoriously difficult. Now, if you leave your crafting bench unplugged, you don't have to worry about events and attacks and stuff. And those are usually checked at around 4 PM, from what I understand, so if you don't do any crafting around that time, you're usually good. But in this case, I want to leave it plugged in because it stops the Ratman from spawning. So this is just a quick prep to clean out a bunch of unnecessary stuff from the bag. Again, space tends to hits points where it gets at a premium. Almost forgot the vacuum. I've had a couple runs where I've head out and forgotten it. There is a faster way down here, but I haven't been able to get it down to land there without breaking a limb, so I do the light jump instead. It only takes an extra second. And now begins the hunt for additional military electronics, and steel cable, which I don't need to go into them. In some cases, I don't need to go into the mines at all. That guy I can just ignore because HP doesn't matter at this point. As long as I'm not dead, everything is fine. I delay this anvil on purpose because sometimes that guy that I grab the power cell in front of causes a chain reaction of aggro, especially with the sniper, and the sniper can shoot me right here. So I don't want that to happen. I figure I can spare a second to avoid getting shot. Because I need hoses, screws, and wood. These boxes are a great source for all of that and very easily vacuumed up. Need the soil bag to make the anti-thermite bomb later. There's water to make solder. That's why I make the pot beforehand to bring it with me so I don't have to backtrack into this room to get water. It's like a 5 or 8 second time loss. There's one of the places you can get backup pipes. I could make more reinforced hoses here, but I find making the 2 I need specifically for level 2 hacker is the most comfortable for me. Ah, forgot to pick up the couch on the way in again to make the bed. So we make the bed here to set up for the first death warp to get out of train quickly. I lose a little bit of time here, just getting momentarily flustered on what I need to do with my inventory. I'm taking a quick count of what needs to come with me. At this point I have realized both of these anvils are the last anvils I need to break down, so that should be done with the salvage table. Combat is mostly avoided here because it's slow, and the most common enemy I have to fight is Exors, which teleport away and just waste a lot of time. Just realized I brought the bridge with me. I didn't want to have that in my bag for this, but thankfully it doesn't matter because I don't need to pick that much up. I want to leave here with 5 military electronics, 5 steel cable, 5 hoses because I brought them with me. Of course, an anti-verse wheat. The crowbar in slot 1 is for a neat little trick where if you attack with a fast weapon and quick swap to a slow weapon and then back, you get a hit with both weapons sometimes. So it can turn like an Exor into a 2 or 3 shot instead of a 4 with just the mallet by itself. I knew what my count was at that point, so that should be the 5 cable and stuff I needed. Now you're going to see a lot of use of the cot, my absolute MVP of this run. I'm not even sure how much time this thing actually ends up saving with the quick stamina refill as opposed to just walking. Crouch here because the peccary's coming. The military backpack is not strictly required. You can go without it, but it makes it much simpler in a few spots down the road to just grab everything into your bag and move on. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the dry section of glitchless. You have to go talk to Franks, and then go talk to the blacksmith, and then go do train, and then go back to blacksmith, and then you can finally leave by repairing everything.
Remember what happened in '85 when the kinetics team overloaded the synchrotron? They triggered a singularity that carved a hole clean through to the next sector. We could do it again right now if these damn quakes hadn't broken the electron pumps. So I sent my team to the blacksmith. He can make the parts to fix the pumps. We'll make our own exit. All my people need to do is follow the pipes. Red, yellow, green, they'll find their way to the pumps they need to fix. It's been hours since they left, but they'll be back, I'm sure of it.
That little nap while the gate was opening is, of course, because I can't go anywhere until the gate gets at least a crouch height clearance. And by topping off stamina, what I was trying to set up for is the next nap is right after talking to the blacksmith. He is a wait because you have to get the tram key recipe from him, which he doesn't give until he's done talking.
What choice we got? I can trade you parts to fix the pumps, sure. But there's a couple things I need first. Price of doing business. Because Frake ain't the only one with plans. I'll buzz the list to you. One more thing. You're gonna have to unlock the tram station, too. One of Frake's people said there's a gateway in there. That portal leads where I think it does. Some of what's on that list is on the other side. I'll give you specs for a tram key. Should open the station right up.
So some of the hesitation last build cycle was I made all of this scrap, and normally I would make all my screws there. But I realized I always have a little bit of extra downtime while the blacksmith is talking, so I opted to try it there instead, and I think the results were worth it. This is the train death warp. I don't need to fight anything because of how I go through it. But I do need that controller to actually make the tram key. My biggest time losses are probably still in inventory management here. This is very important. Before leaving, I need to plug the stove in. Sometimes you can get instant soup with the stove not plugged in by plugging it in when you get back and making the soup. But for some reason, with the train warp specifically, the stove needs to be plugged in beforehand. Now, speaking of instant soup, what I have found with that, so like I said, the stove needs to be plugged in. The pot is on there, that's the other part of it. You need to go into a loading zone of some kind, so that when you come back to where the pot is, and the stove, you get a loading beforehand. So you'll see me mess around a little bit here. And that is to delay just enough to make sure that I get the instant soup when I get back. Because if you go through this too fast, weird, right? A speedrun where you go too fast, you get back to your bed and it does not do a load, which means you have to wait 2 minutes for the solder to cook. And I actually remember to put stuff on my bar. So I go ooga booga. Okay, and you'll notice the solder should boil almost immediately. Like I don't even get a chance to finish cleaning up my bag. So I just grab everything once my weapons are there. Once again, an inventory management thing. I only need the one solder. I'm not used to needing a battery because of the glitched run, where you just freeze time at 7 a.m. at the first day. So remembering that has been a challenge, and that's why you saw me there like, wait a minute, I'm forgetting something. So it's solder, axle grease, and then the nice thing about this is you need 3, you have 5, so it's a simple split and drop. And now you really get to see this cot be MVP. Not only is it used to get stamina back over and over and over again, this is like a 3-minute section of running. There's two spots where it is used as a stepping stool, too. Particularly for Tarosk to set up the bridge freeze on him. Usually on Glitched, you would grab a chair for that, but the cot gets the job done, so there's no reason to make a pit stop for a chair on the way. You can go straight to setup and then trapping and killing the poor thing. He just wants love. So this part is by far the most dry part of glitchless, because you do have to do the whole back and forth and train. The reason this video got delayed a couple days, even though I had it done, was one, I was being lazy about commentary. I just didn't want to sit down and do it. And two, I was experimenting with a possible faster route by using bridges, shelves, and a jump pad to jump from office sector all the way over to defense sector, which has a back door into labs. So you can just do shipping logistics area in manufacturing and then go back to office sector and jump straight to labs, almost exactly like glitchless clips through ceilings to get in there. But it's not a clip, so it's allowed in glitchless. Just smart travel. Which is a big part of the appeal of this game, is that there's no, like, one right way to do it. You can find so many fun ways to solve your problem. Like, it's interesting to see how everybody figures out how they're going to kill a robot. I was watching some friends stream this as a duo, and the way they killed the robot was it attacked their base. So they had to. And it ended up being getting it stuck and killing it with a crossbow, but like once you know how, I've seen some cool stuff, like you use the Chopinator, you get them in stun lock, like I do in the glitched version of the run with the mallet.
Janet, you always say my
The
out of control.
tripwire mine is fun as well. Once you have Tesla towers, those absolutely destroy them.
Than I've ever been.
Are you sure about this, Abe?
Of course I'm sure, Janet.
Do you remember the pocket dimension? I remember the pocket dimension.
This is completely different. We're fighting
The short
fire
time
with fire.
I have been running
Never
this.
let me try
You know what? I'll
this.
wait for them to
If I
stop
can
talking.
Just bootstrap the neural array, I should be able to. Aha! Oh no, Janet,
Oh my god, it's loose.
run, Janet.
I don't remember what I was saying now. Oh yeah, a fun evolution of this run is a lot of it centralizes around being ready to kill Tarosk. And everybody initially would go for the electro thrower, which requires a detour into wildlife pens just past this elevator to kill the electro pests. And that's fine. Like, you can 1v1 the Tarosk with just the electro thrower and potentially beat it as long as you're landing your shots properly, and you don't even need to recharge. This Exor is a jerk. That's why I take the extra stealthy moment around here, because he will teleport all the way up to the second floor just to try and kill you. I've had him attack me up this ladder here. But anyway, back to Tarosk. So the alteration to the run I tried initially was pick up the shotgun that's right there, because it's very powerful against him, but it's kind of slow, just in the sense that it takes forever to reload. Very unusual, the Exor was not in this room. Usually he's walking around these canisters there. But yeah, after having some successful runs with shotgun kills on Tarosk, I was like, what does the trip mine do to him? And the hardest part about that was finding a way to get the Tarosk to sit still. This was an incredible room, by the way. Being able to do that with not having to fight the Exor and getting the robot kill without the other Exor and the Peccary joining in. I was a little cautious there because I didn't want them to aggro me in case they were coming down the stairs. And then right here, that Breacher has a bad habit of aggroing me. And I don't want him chasing me, although in hindsight it doesn't matter if I do the robot first. It's just a habit from when I would do the robot second, because you don't want that breacher joining in while you're trying to fight the robot. That's just a disaster. Oh yeah, but back to Tarosk, because again, a very centralizing part of the run. In an attempt to figure out how to kill him with the tripwire mine, I needed a way to get him stuck, and I had a couple means to make that happen, but I needed something faster and lighter, because I was using a barricade, and that put him in a weird spot because he'd get on top of the barricade to get stuck, and it made it really awkward to hit him with the trip mine, because that room does not like the trip mine to be stuck to the walls. It puts it at strange angles, and you really got to hit him in the top fins to do the damage. If you hit him anywhere else, you're basically not hurting him. So I tried bridges to see if I could get him to just do something similar where he gets stuck on them and idles most of the time. And what I found with bridges is they just straight up break his AI. And further experimenting with that, found that a single bridge breaks his AI. Which you will see here shortly. A little bit of a time loss from a annoying placement of the Electropest, but there are actually worse places he can be. If he shows up here and you need to vacuum him to get him out of your way, the Exor in there will hear you. And that's not a good thing. You don't want to get hit by that guy coming into Tarosk, because HP is very precious to make it through the turrets. Almost forgot the cube there. Small inventory optimization. Having the cube and the hacker next to each other makes these next few sections go a little bit smoother, especially getting into Mushroom Land.
2, 1.
Usually make it on top of that railing with the jump, but just missed it that time.
A sip of water would suffice.
Should have just crouch walked there until I saw the lines on the ground. Little rough on the HP there, but still enough to survive the Tarosk. So, caught, cube to get up. Putting those on my bar just in case I die. It's 4 rotations. That looks good. And then the reason you melee him and then run away is you need him to do his leap so that his next action is to walk. Because if he leaps and that gets him clear of the bridge, he's now free of the bridge. Now you just exit the game and come back to reset him. So it's only a small time loss if that happens. Listening for a sound cue here. There's the thub, which usually means he's dead. I always fire an extra shot waiting for him to fall over anyway, just to be sure. And here's the chef hat coming in clutch. 24 hits instead of 25. Ah, yeah. And then he has a weird lingering hitbox. That's what I was stuck on. And you know this is a 37 minutes, so 3 minutes left in the run. And by run, this is
Siberian.
a lot of running. And here you'll see cube to get up a little sooner, switch to hacker to pre-hack the door, cube to get down to the Taros Gicker part, back on the hacker to pre-hack, back on the cube for this jumping section. I love this jump when you execute it right. Look at that. Right onto the vine. Beautiful. Feels good, man. That's the most reliable path I have found to get up there. That's a very janky jump with a lot of slippery slopes that you think you can stand on it and then you just slide off instead.
Boiling up.
Specifically do the cot there because this terrain really does not like the cot being put down around this area. Off the cube again, bounce up here. Cube for a safe landing to go back down. Bounce back up again. Make sure the Icker is on my bar so I can death warp out. Have a bad habit of forgetting that. And then switch off the cube. I think it's might be like a half second faster to unstick there, but falling off the edge is more fun. Grab everything. Make the anti-thermite. Shout out to Nullix for that jump. I was doing it the slow way, landing on the roof of the spot Thule is hiding in, and then going around, but he showed me that with the cube out, you can safely make the landing off of that spot, so it's more of a straight path. And running in this game is a lot like a racing game. You need to have good lines to optimize your time. One less brain fart, or even just slightly better movement, and this would have been under 37. But I'm still pretty happy with this run, especially for how much time was saved on the labs robot.
Come far and seek escape from the depths, the shadow layer, where our kinds cannot coexist. But the way is blocked. For now.
Go check the world time, and thanks for watching.